have known, could you?
Nate, these guys are playing for keeps.
You're gonna keep going, aren't you? For what? Treasure?
Hang on, I got you! Admit it. You love all this as much as I do.
Yes, it's the return of everybody's favorite serial killer, Nathan Drake. You know he's a serial killer. The guy's like Dexter. Like if he didn't have adventuring where he could kill so many bad guys, he would be like killing women right now, like innocent people. And because Jeff, you were right.
He's like, no, it was for treasure. It was for treasure.
He's kind of like the world's most inadvertent serial killer because he's always just running away like, no. And then, at the end, there's a pile of bodies that reaches all the way to the top of the building.
And he's always come out of it grinning and shit. Hey, Sully, man, how you doing? I just killed 10 people. Hey, man, let's go get a Sunday. I'm like, wow,
but he's always still looking handsome and rugged, even if he's just been beat to shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know if anybody really wants to play that game where Nathan Drake shoots some guy in the head, then spends the next 8 hours in a bar, considering what his life is worth.
Yeah. I mean, if he wasn't going for artifacts, the treasure would be like your throat or your heart or something. But you know what, man? I have to say, I'm very sorry for not being able to spend a lot of time with this series. I did not play the first game, only played half of the second game, and liked what I saw. And after playing this third one, I guess Uncharted 3, was it called Drake's Deception?
Drake's Deception,
yes. Looking at this game, I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, man, I wish I could have just played this whole series at the very beginning, because really, when we talk about storytelling and character, in writing in video games, I mean, I'm looking at this, and this is pretty much one of the highest standards that you can achieve. I mean, this game, the people are going to keep using this word, is so cinematic. It's the equivalent of a Hollywood blockbuster. It's amazing, all the characters and their relationships in the game, and all that is true. I am blown away by just how much of that they're able to put into a video game. I think Naughty Dog, or the developers, should just say, fuck it, to video games and start making movies.
No, because then we wouldn't get another Uncharted game. Don't suggest that, mate.
Do you think we'll get another Uncharted game?
Oh, yeah, we're going to get another Uncharted game.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah! No, I just lost.
Well, we've got that one for the Vita coming out right around the corner, but that's not Naughty Dog. I mean, I'm sure they have a hand in it, but it's a third party developer.
Yeah, I'm incredibly impressed by this game, and this game is one of the contenders. Right now, we're reviewing this game in 2011, November. It is going to be at this time considered to be one of the games of the year.
I think it's the best looking console game I've ever played. I'm not sure if there's something better looking, but I can't think of anything. This game looks great. It
was really interesting to look because there's a level that's set in kind of like the Middle East, and to compare that with just having gotten done playing Battlefield 3. I mean, Battlefield 3 was probably technically a little bit more impressive with like textures and stuff, but just the art design of those levels was so much better in this game. It just felt way more alive than,
Yeah, well, it's prettier, and in Battlefield, it's all blown to shit.
No, not just that, but also how grainy it looks in Battlefield 3, whereas in this, everything's so colourful. Like, you don't see in many games these days where there's just such a wide variety of bright colours, but it just looks beautiful in this. Whether you're in the jungle or in the desert, it just looks wonderful.
And let's give the game, let's just say what lends itself to it being such a beautiful game. I mean, one of the advantages that this series has is so beautiful is Nathan Drake and that perfect hair of his. Oh, that physique is in that ass. Oh.
Can you imagine how we would look after we got blown up and jumped off of a plane, and fell 30 feet? We'd be stumbling around, bloody, clothes ripped. Nobody'd want to get with us. You see Nate Drake, he stumbles out of a fireball, and he's like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, I was going to say, after all the shit he goes through, we went through that. We look kind of like we do now. Shitty.
I couldn't climb over any of those walls. I would have stopped after the first 5 minutes. I'd be like too tired to lay down.
Oh, no, you would have actually made a review saying, this is too hard right here. This is difficult. I can't sneak around this wall here.
Let me say, actually, as a benefit to this game, it for me, there are parts where you have to, like, you get caught or captured and you have to, like, restart. The restarts are instantaneous, which is really one of my main beefs with other games where I have to wait for things to reload, like in Batman, where people sit there and cuss at me and stuff where it goes back all the time. Like, that just makes me mad. It's like playing a game of, like, basketball by yourself where you're throwing the ball and then you miss the basket and then you got to wait 30 seconds before you can throw the ball again. It's stupid. And I think...
on top of that, Michael Jordan comes out from behind the corner and says, hey, man, you suck.
Right. Exactly. Right. This is how all games should be. Like, if you get, like, captured or shot or die or something, it should just restart instantaneously. I think games have progressed far enough, and this game shows you how to do it right. It's perfect.
Yeah, you're right about that. And the only thing that I can see as a disadvantage to dying in this game is that every time you die, you got to hear that guy play that flute over and over again. Like, that's the whole thing I got tired. I was like, shut the fuck up with that flute, man.
And the music, speaking of, the flute, the music, and of course they borrowed a lot from like Lawrence of Arabia. In fact, some of the musical cues are inspired by the score to the Lawrence of Arabia movie because, it's obviously steals a lot from it and from the adventures of T.E. Lawrence, but it's epic and sweeping, just really, really gives you this feeling of a grand adventure.
Yeah, it's funny because they mentioned T.E. Lawrence a lot in the game, so you could tell that right from the very beginning that the makers of the game were influenced by Lawrence of Arabia because everybody wants to say Indiana Jones, and there is a lot of that adventuring.
Wait, I don't think do you think they've seen Indiana Jones? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I can't tell.
They've definitely seen Lawrence of Arabia because the characters won't shut up about it.
Yeah,
so
Raiders of the Lost Ark was inspired by Lawrence of Arabia, partially.
Yeah.
But then you've got scenes that are just completely lifted from, like, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I mean, completely. This movie or this game would not exist without the Indiana Jones movies, period.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, it seems like, there's a lot of that Indiana Jones adventuring aspect in there. And of course, you can't go in without pointing that out. I mean, that's a given. But everybody's pointing to that. It's just how much more classic they want to get in that adventure aspect by going back to something like Lawrence of Arabia. And speaking of that adventure aspect, what I was going to mention earlier is that this game has an advantage of being so beautiful because it goes to so many exotic locations. I mean, jungles and ancient ruins and just old architecture, and it's amazing the amount of detail they put in the game. What's the game's about? I don't know. All I know is that they're looking for a lost city that is considered to be the Atlantis of the sand. In every game, he's just looking for shit. Okay, that's all you need to know. Nathan Drake is looking for some lost treasure somewhere, treasure that's hidden up your ass. I don't know, but...
Hello, Victor.
Kate?
Still wallowing in the gutter with your protege, I see. Not very dignified for a man of your age.
Should have known you'd be behind this. Oh, careful now. Wouldn't want you to melt.
Same cocky little shit. So fearless. I wonder what you're really afraid of. Not bullets or blood or broken bones. No. You get off on all this, don't you? Cheating death? Or not?
No.
Mr. Sullivan, I won't harm your precious boy. I merely want what's mine.
He's going to run out of stuff, and like by Uncharted 9, he's going to be looking for, I have Boardwalk, but now I need Park Place for the McDonald's Monopoly. he's going to be ransacking suburbia. He's
just going to crash through somebody's antique store. What the fuck, man? I'm looking for the old teacup. I know it's here, but forget the story, though, because the reason why you play these games, I mean, besides the exceptional gameplay that they have here, which I have to say, I'm going to get into it later, I don't think it's perfect. I think there's some major problems with these games that are just personal for me. I'm not going to even put that on anybody else. But what's so great about these games is what I mentioned before. These characters that, while they were great before, just to see them form these relationships and these bonds and develop their story with each other over time. Nathan Drake and his mentor and his daddy figure, Sully, and all the other side characters that they have, they're characters I don't know if they've had in other games. I know the two females that they've had, Eliza Fisher, and the British chick,
Australian,
Chloe,
I think.
Australian,
Sarah
whatever.
Black.
Yeah, I don't. They're great. They're great to look at. I like the character of Charlie, your British sidekick in here.
You mean what's the guy's name?
Jason
that's
Statham?
It. Yeah, he looks like Jason Statham.
He does look like Jason Statham, man. And but looking at all these characters, I'm just amazed that really I don't want to hear anybody else approach me and say, "Hey, man, who cares about story and character? It's just a video game." I might can apply to some things, but when people are trying to tell a story and they're trying to tell it with character and somewhat character development and relationships, look at this game right here, and don't ever tell me that you should blow that off, because they have managed to do this very well. I mean, this is the franchise series for the PlayStation 3 right now. And speaking of gameplay, what I like about this, okay, after playing Batman Arkham City so much, I feel like I just feel like I